Hi, my name is Shadow. If you're swinging around a big two-handed sword, there's always the possibility of a stinker who could cut into your arm. That's when you ask yourself, can you use a two-handed sword one-handed? The simple answer is yes, but not as good. If you use a two-handed sword one-handed only, you lose nearly every advantage this greatsword has to offer. Looking at the handle, you know it's all about leverage and the best use of it to maneuver such a long weapon. Since it is such a big sword, it handles quite differently than an arming sword or even a long sword. The benefits of a greatsword are its greater reach when swinging around and the momentum you can cause by the leverage of the longer handle. You can move it pretty nimble, although it weighs more than a normal longsword, and cause some intimidating strikes to your enemy since it's very big and scary in the hands of a warrior. So if you use a two-handed sword like a Montante or a bidenhänder or Zweihänder or this Schlachtschwert one-handed only, you lose nearly every benefit of it, because trying to wield it one-handed will make you look cumbersome and all scariness is away. Since all weight is being held by your one hand and has to be used by your only one wrist, the leverage works constantly against you. Trying to move your wrist puts a lot of stress to your tendons and joints overall. Usually you use core rotation to swing the sword, but your arms will get too tired and slow to join the movement perfectly. You lose the agility you need to move the sword in the ways you want it to. Since you need more strength with one arm, you lose energy on the impact. With no real point control left, enemies can smack your sword aside. But then again, there are some neat tricks you could pull off with a two-handed sword using it one-handed. Like the thrust of Achilles Marrozzos, who shows it in his manuals from the Renaissance. In this manual you can see him having a firm grip around the pommel with the left hand and making a step forward with his left leg and then releasing the grip with the right hand and catapulting it forwards using his complete body to enhance his reach. But beware of your point, since you lose all point control when releasing the sword with your second hand. So the enemy could smack it back and you should train to catch the blade again when this happens. You could also use a nice trick I'm going to show you. Like in the morato thrust, you will make the blow with your left hand by releasing the right hand from your grip and enhancing the whole reach of your weapon. In this case, you can always make some space when enemies are thinking they are out of reach. You know those days. You are guarding something, everything is boring, and suddenly someone tries to hurt you, and you two stay too close. What do? Bam! Extend your arm and smack the guard to something sensitive. Same goes in close combat if your other arm is injured. If one arm is injured, you could still pull off some nice thrusts to your enemy, but still beware of some counter attacks, because they could still smack your blade away because you have no point control left. But maybe you will land some hits. Remember, a big ass sword like this was always a main weapon on the battlefield, but then again the Landsknechts, for example, always had a sidearm like a short sword or a dagger. So if your arm gets injured, it kind of makes more sense to throw the greatsword away and pull your sidearm, so you could fight more efficiently. Thank you for watching! If you came up with some viable techniques for using the two-handed sword like a bidenhänder or Spadone one-handed, don't hesitate to make a video and show me so I could learn from you too.